into sausages. Sausages, you say? But he's still alive and it's all fine. Oh no, that's clashing with my eyeballs. Maybe other people are looking at me and thinking, oh my God, what's she doing wearing that eyeshadow with her eyeballs? Are you joking? Is it a joke? Is it a joke? Say it's a joke, Kelly. Say it's a joke. And I personally plan to wear all the wrong coloured eyeshadow and as much foundation and bronzer as I flippin' well like, because I'm 38 years old and you ain't my mum. Alright. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be another episode in my series of reacting to your unpopular opinions. So without further ado, let's get started. So first up, thank you so much to everybody who sent in one of your unpopular opinions. I post these boxes on my Instagram stories every now and then whenever it's time to do another one of these videos, and every time I've done this, I think, I don't know that we're going to get any new ones, or we're not going to get enough that we haven't already done to make a whole video. And every time you guys pull through, you come through with the great, really interesting opinions that are really fun to talk about and to react to. So thank you so much if you put an unpopular opinion in my box. There were some really great new ones again this time, so thank you so much for submitting them. So I'm just going to go through the ones that are new that we haven't kind of already covered before in a previous episode and get through as many as we can. So first up, oh my gosh, we're off to a start. Along Came Kelly says, blusher is overrated. Are you joking? Is it a joke? Is it a joke? Say it's a joke, Kelly. Say it's a joke. Blusher is like one of, if not my favourite things in life. I could never do my makeup and not want to put blusher on. I just love it. Obviously not everybody has to like the same things, but I cannot live without it. It's just my favourite. It's one of my favourite steps in my makeup. It's the very final thing I do other than lipstick. And every time I do it, it's just, it's the cherry on the top. I just love all the pretty colours. I love the glowy cheeks. I love it. So I'm really sad that you don't share my joy, but also, you know, we understand it's horses for courses and not everything is for everyone, and that's fine, Kelly. You do you. Ella Graham Makeup says winged liner is not necessary for every single look and makes them look worse. I would probably agree. I sometimes, you know, will do my eyeshadow and be like, do you know what? A wing would really finish this off. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I think actually, you know, if I'm doing a super natural look or whatever, I don't think so. But sometimes I just want to do a wing, to be honest. And it's not that it will necessarily enhance the look. It could even, in your opinion, make the look worse or ruin it. But I want to do a wing. And I'm going to do what I want to do, you know? So I would agree, it's certainly not necessary. It's certainly not necessary, thank goodness, because sometimes we don't have the time or the energy for it. But yeah, I just sometimes like doing them, regardless of whether it actually enhances the look or not. I'm in the mood to wing it up, you know? Shiseido, apologies for butchering your Instagram handle, putting thousands of layers of skincare plus SPF plus primer plus foundation will make everything roll into sausages. Sausages, you say? I can't say this has ever happened to me. I can't say I've ever produced sausages while doing my makeup and layering skincare. I'm kind of jealous, if I'm honest. A lot of the time when I'm doing my makeup, I really would love a sausage roll to appear. That would be like a dream come true. I don't know how do we apply for these sausages? I would love to have some sausage snacks while I'm getting ready. I don't know what's happening here, but I'm really sorry that that's happening to you. I don't know what's happening. What's going on? Sausages, you say? That is a head scratcher. Kachan 801 all shimmer eyeshadow palettes are great. I I agree and disagree in equal measure, okay? Like a few years ago, I would have disagreed hard. I need the mattes. I need them. I need mattes. And actually, my preference would definitely be some mattes in any eyeshadow palette, whether it's a quad or a huge other amount. But I have definitely had that opinion sort of change over time when I've tried palettes such as Star Aura from Charlotte Tilbury, Celestial Pearl, was that the other one from Charlotte Tilbury? Some all shimmer palettes from Pat McGrath as well have found their way into my collection the last couple of years, and I've learned to appreciate them and the beautiful looks that they can give. And I agree, they definitely can be great. I don't know if that's an unpopular I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. Let us know. Is it an unpopular opinion? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'm intrigued. Bethany Ann says, MAC isn't a great makeup brand. I'd say at the moment, I think it was 10 years ago. I think MAC was thriving and it was at the top of their game. I think they did a lot of like groundbreaking for makeup brands. I think, you know, a lot of the time when we talk about, you know, the incredible shade ranges from foundation, everybody like credits Fenty as starting that. MAC had like 40 shades for years and years before that. As far as their inclusivity, the range of products, the professional products on offer, the brushes, 10, 15 years ago, MAC were like groundbreaking, especially in like professional makeup. So yeah, I think they were great. I think unfortunately over the last decade, they kind of sat on their laurels a little bit. We didn't see that much new reformulating, adding to their permanent line as we should have. And I think they kind of like got comfortable and now they've got left behind. So I think at the moment they're a solid brand who have some great products. And I think we're starting to see them catching up now and they're starting to bring out great products again, but I definitely agree that they've got some way to go. Renata says, I don't like extreme volume or lengthening mascaras. I'm still waiting for a nice natural one. Now, we clearly have different tastes when it comes to mascara, and that is 100% valid, allowed and acceptable. Eyelashes are very, very subjective. Some, like me, the bigger, fatter, the better. Some like false lashes, some like natural lashes, some don't like to wear mascara, and all of those are completely acceptable options. You do you. What I will say is that if you like hate dramatic lashes, then have a look through my mascara playlist. Any of the mascaras I didn't like, they're the ones for you. Just do the opposite of everything I say when it comes to mascara and lashes, and the ones that I use, do the opposite. The ones I hate, you will love. Cinzia says, sue me for blasphemy, but MAC lipsticks smell awful. It's vanilla, isn't it? They smell fine to me. They don't smell that strong, just a hint of vanilla. By my nose, I've definitely smelled worse things. I'll say that. I have 2 children after all. And I live with a man. Bron says, I don't like Lisa Eldridge's Velvet Matte Formula. Don't be sorry, Bron. There's more for me. That's number 1. I love it. You know that. But not everything, like we said, we don't all feel the same. We don't all have the same skin type, texture. Even our lips, different textures, different levels of hydration, lines, etc. Everything's going to look different and perform differently on everybody. You don't have to like everything that I like, and you definitely don't have to like everything that is popular or that other people like. Everybody is very different, has different preferences. There's nothing wrong with you or wrong with your opinion. How Mel is saying the dark/contrasting lip liner trend is giving me 90s horror flashbacks. Just no. Here's the thing. So I don't really remember this being a trend in the 90s. Well, I do remember it being a trend, but it was not a thing that I ever got into, or that, you know, the people that I was around or that lived near me, I never remember really seeing it. Maybe it just never reached Devon, I don't know. What we were doing was just like foundation coloured lipsticks. So our lips were almost like lighter than our skin tone. That's what we were doing in the 90s. So I don't really remember this. I think it can be done gloriously. A fantastic example of someone who does this incredibly well without it being really extreme is Jamie Genevieve, queen of the 90s lip. But yeah, I understand it. We don't all have to jump on every trend. Not everyone is for us. And I think if the people who really love this trend are people who were probably like not wearing makeup in the 90s. They don't remember it. That's why they're also all into loving like low-rise jeans, because they didn't experience it the first time. So they are mistaken that it's a good idea. Kate says Victoria Beckham is overrated. Interesting, because I don't hear a lot of hype actually about Victoria Beckham beauty. I'm assuming you mean the makeup and not the human lady. Do you? Or do you mean as a person she's overrated? Because that's a whole other video. But I don't really hear a huge amount. I feel like it's quite a sort of under the radar brand. Is that just me? I don't hear a huge amount about it. I would say I'm kind of still getting to know that brand. I love the bronzer, one of, if not my favourite bronzers ever. The single eyeshadows, although not something I use a lot, I thought were really good. Her cream blush stick I liked, for the cream blush and stick hater. What else have I tried? From Victoria Beckham? The highlighter, didn't love. That's, I think, everything that I've tried so far. So I haven't tried a lot. I'm still definitely kind of getting to know the brand, but I've had some good experiences. Tell us about yours, please. I'm intrigued. Mama Namalik says there is no such thing as dupes. I would probably tend to agree with this one, but it also depends on your definition of a dupe. So to me, my understanding of a dupe is it's like the exact same. That's what I would think of as a dupe. So typically we're talking about an expensive product, and then there's a dupe that's a lot less money. I think what people are saying when they say it's a dupe is that it's the exact same. And most of the time it's not the exact same. It might be a similar colour, but usually that's about it. Whether or not it wears in the same way, whether it has the same texture, whether it has the same ingredients and the same amounts of ingredients, usually the answer is no, no, no. The quality of the ingredients, the lab, etc., none of that is likely to be the same. But I think for most people it's accepted that, you know, someone who's looking for a dupe is just looking for something more affordable to their budget that kind of does what the other product does. So I think that it's not necessarily expected that it's exact identical in every way match. But yes, it's not something, sometimes people ask me to do dupes and it's just not something that is my thing. But I certainly understand why someone would want to find something that is really hyped up, or this product that everyone's talking about, but they want something that does that thing, that does that job, but for a lot less money. I think there's definitely a market for it. But yes, it's obviously never going to be the exact same. Kat says Muse is the best new Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow palette. So I haven't tried that one. I've got Vega and Sorcery, so I couldn't agree or disagree with you. Obviously that is an unpopular opinion because I think most people are loving, well, Sorcery was the first and only one is yet to sell out, so I think that was the most popular one. But now that everyone's used them, I think Vega is taking is quickly catching up because people are so surprised by actually how flattering and stunning it is, even though it looks so unique. So yeah, I think that probably is an unpopular opinion, but it just really depends on what you're looking for. You know, I think Lisa did an excellent job at kind of giving something for everybody. You know, Sorcery is probably the most like metallic, the most dramatic as far as the colour story. And then Vega is very sort of soft, very cool and very unique. And then there's a couple of softer, quieter, more muted palettes. And if that's what you're looking for, then of course that's going to be your favourite. So everyone is just so different. So I love that Lisa kind of gave us a palette for every like personality and preference. Leah Jo says powder products sit on top of skin and facial hair and make anyone look older. Hard disagree, hard disagree. Obviously, powder products are not all created equally, and neither are our faces. We all have different faces. My powder products definitely don't sit on top of the skin. I would not use them if they did. Mine melt beautifully, buff gloriously into a skin-like finish, and that's what I love about them. And I find them typically more flattering than creams as well, and far longer wearing. But everybody is different. Everyone has different preferences, skin types, skin tones, the amount of hair that you have. Some people like to dermaplane and have no hair on their face, so it ceases to be a problem. I don't do that because I cannot be bothered to get into another thing that I have to do every week. Kat says, when YouTubers pretend they love a product and it is actually a promo ad. I mean, it can be both things. Did you know that? It can certainly be an ad that they were paid for a product that they love, and I think that's usually the case. I think there's definitely a sort of suspicion of sponsored posts within like the beauty realm, and I think there are like valid reasons for that. I definitely think there are some creators who do a huge amount of sort of disingenuous ads of products they don't really use, or certainly they don't love everything about them as much as you would believe from a paid ad. But I also think that I don't know, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but creators get offered an insane number of ads. I will say I probably get offered or asked to do something like, 30, 40 a week at least. And I've done 3 sponsored posts this year, 2 by the same brand. So I've worked with 2 products that I've done sponsored videos on out of the 1,000 more that I've been offered. And the reason for those 2 are because they were the 2 products that I loved, that I used, that I wanted to work with that brand and that company on and use and love still before, after and during us doing a collaboration. So I think most of the time that's what most creators do. We don't need to do ads with brands or products that we don't like or we don't enjoy, because you'd get offered so many. I'm still a very small creator and I can't tell you how many approaches I get every single day. So you don't need to accept ones of products that you don't like or love or believe in. You pick the ones that you do like and you do love. So I think the vast majority of ads and sponsored posts that we get, the creator do like the product and do love them, and that's why they've chosen to work with that brand and that product out of the thousands and thousands that are offered. Yeah, I think the vast majority of the time it's both, and that creator loves the product and that's why they've agreed to do an ad or a sponsored post on it. Mylenita says, I don't like inner corner eyeliner. I mean, what I wouldn't give to trade places with you. My suggestion is don't try to like it. Just be happy that you don't have to get involved with it. That would be my suggestion, because it's hell out here, okay? I love it. I flipping love it. I would do it every single day if I had the energy and was good at it. It's been the hardest challenge of my life. Well, when it comes to makeup, I have given birth a couple of times. So you're best off well clear of it. Honestly, it's a flipping nightmare, and I frankly wish I could join you in disliking it, but I just don't. I love it. Emma says, I really don't like highlighter, but that's because it accentuates texture on my skin. So I get it. I mean, not all highlighters are created equally. There are definitely highlighters that don't accentuate texture on the skin. Why have you given me such a tongue twister? But also, I mean, I don't know if you want to get involved with highlighter. Maybe you're just happy off without it. But if you did, then I would highly recommend trying Chanel highlighters. They're some of the smoothest that I've ever experienced, and also strategic placement of them. Maybe give that a try, but you don't have to get into them. You know, or maybe try another thing, glowy primers or something like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter under foundation if you want a bit of luminosity. But do you know what? All matte skin is coming back, so you're well ahead of the game. Leora Gov says, any colour lipstick or eyeshadow you want is office appropriate. Now, this is a really interesting one, and I don't really know, I guess I mean, personally, I agree. I agree that I couldn't care less what anyone wears like makeup wise or clothing in general to the office. I will say not all offices are created equal and not all offices are the same. And while I don't think anyone should be like in trouble for a lipstick or eyeshadow choice or just wearing, you know, bright or glam makeup to the office, you know, if you're doing a good job and you're doing what you're there to do, then really how you're dressed or the makeup you're wearing, what importance does it really have? But I will say for me and the office that I worked in, being an all sport office, that even if I wore a single scrap of makeup to work, I'd be the only person in the building with makeup on. And for me in my job, you know, a big part of that is rapport and building relationships with athletes and coaches and other sports people. And rightly or wrongly, I do feel like if I was rocking up to work with a full glam, full beat and red lipstick, then I would definitely stand out. And I definitely wouldn't look like I was part of the environment because nobody else would have a scrap of makeup on. They'd be in a tracksuit, probably wet hair from the shower or the swimming pool, and looking slightly bedraggled in appearance. And if I was rocking up looking fresh as a daisy, perfectly turned out with, you know, false nails and eyelashes and lipstick, I definitely wouldn't look part of that environment. Not to say that I would like be losing my job or there should be, you know, judgment, but for me, I want to sort of be part of the environment that I'm in, and I find that just looking the part, whether that be wearing a tracksuit, trainers, and just being a bit more low key and casual, then that is important to me in my environment that I work in, so that people feel like I'm approachable and I look like I'm there, part of the environment that we work in. That's how I personally feel. So I don't go like full beat, full glam eyeshadow and makeup to my office, but it's not because anyone's ever sort of judged me for that or told me I'm not allowed or that I feel like I would get in trouble for it. That is just a part of me and choosing to sort of fit into the environment that I work in and to feel like I'm one of the athletes and the coaches and everybody that I am around. That's kind of really my personal choice for that. But I agree, I don't think there should be a specific judgment. And if you're working in like an admin office or, you know, a call center or something like that, that would, none of what I just said would apply to you or should apply to you. And it's not that it should apply to anybody, it's just my personal approach to it. So yeah, I definitely feel like everyone should be allowed to do them. I mean, in my environment that I work in, I would say things like piercings and tattoos would be far more widely accepted. Things like flip-flops, trainers and things like that to work, and being just like in a tracksuit all day, those things probably wouldn't be accepted in more corporate offices. So I feel like every office is different and has an environment and kind of a standard for how people dress and present themselves, but it doesn't mean that everybody has to fit into that. Aaliyah Joe says influencers are afraid of brands. Even when they spill tea, we don't get the bad brand's name. So here's the thing, I mean, I don't necessarily think that that is untrue, but I also think that there are, you know, there's good reasons. There's good reasons for some of that. I mean, if creators have worked with a brand, they'll have a contract. There will certainly be things in that contract that you can and can't do and say, and there'll also just be things that aren't professional in this industry. And I would say I don't think that's any different to any other industry. I think sometimes creators on this platform, because it started off as such a sort of casual, you know, thing where people were just kind of sharing stuff from their bedrooms, now it's a whole professional industry. This is now, like it or not, a valid job for people to do and want to do. And it's like to me, that's any business in any industry, that there are professional boundaries and lines and things that you should and shouldn't say about clients or about other companies that you work for / with. I mean, for example, I used to work in the city for a recruitment firm who worked with some of the biggest banks in the world, investment banks. And if I had, you know, been working at that recruitment firm and had been posting on social media saying, repeating things that were going on within that business for some of these other brands and companies that we worked for, or, you know, saying negative things or giving my opinion on things negatively that these other companies would do, I absolutely would have lost my job. So I think that it's no different from any other industry, really, is that there's, you know, relationships to uphold, and you don't really want to burn bridges. A lot of brands in this business, in beauty, have umbrella companies above them and are part of a huge big tree of brands that, you know, should you go online and start bashing one of these brands, not only could you, you know, have really serious repercussions from that, you know, copyright strikes, content taken down, Instagram profiles deleted and reported, or etc., but you will also burn bridges with potentially not only that brand, anyone who works that brand. A lot of PR agencies represent numerous brands under the same umbrella, and a lot of brands are owned by parent companies, and you could really find that ending your entire career. So I think that there's valid reasons. You know, brands can have really serious consequences for creators, but I think a lot of the time it's no different, like I said, from any other industry in what is professional, in the way that you deal with what are really colleagues and people that you represent, or brands that you want to work with or have worked with previously, and how you conduct yourself. I think it's no different. Like I said, I think any other business that I've ever worked in, that wouldn't be accepted, and you would find yourself in very hot water. And the way that I sort of conduct myself now, in the things that I do and don't say, and that I do and don't react to, are no different from any other job that I've really ever been in. It's just, I think sometimes things look different in content creation than they do in other industries, as we're getting used to this being a sort of accepted, valid job. Bina says, my Gucci blush is getting hard pan. I feel like a lot of high-end products get hard pan. So, I mean, hard pan can come in any product, any powder product, from oil getting in there. That's what it literally is. It's caused by either oils or liquid of whatever getting onto the product. It can come from your fingertips if you're touching the product. It can come from brushes that, you know, touch your face and pick up oil from your skin and then go in to the product. So that can happen to any product, and you know, it's quite easily resolved. A bit of sellotape, I think if you're American you call it something else. Is it Scotch tape? Is that correct? Sellotape, Scotch tape, sticky tape. A little bit of that just pressed on the top, rubbed, will hopefully get rid of that for you. But yeah, I mean, it's something that's quite sometimes unavoidable, especially if you have an oilier skin type. But cleaning brushes and wiping them off on something like the Sonia G little makeup removing towel every time you use them, hopefully that will help if that's something that you're finding is an issue like frequently. Vixen of Makeup says, makeup techniques are not hacks and people need to stop calling them that. That's interesting, because to me, makeup techniques and hacks are two different things. I feel like hacks are like a cheat to do a makeup technique. They're like something that you wouldn't probably do in a professional setting if you're a professional makeup artist on someone else, but they're a way, like if you're a makeup idiot like me, to kind of get around something in an easier way. You know, something like using a credit card to do a winged liner, or I've seen people using forks to do contour. So to me, using a fork or a spoon to do like a cut crease, I don't think that's really a makeup technique. That's like a cheat, a hack, you know, a way to like cheat being able to do the actual makeup technique. That's my interpretation. But yeah, interesting. What do you guys think? Is a hack and a makeup technique the same or different? To me, they're different. Freya says, I wanted to really like Bobbi Brown products, but find them disappointing and underwhelming. I understand you. I keep thinking I want to give Bobbi Brown, the brand, like more of a try. I haven't tried anything from them for years. I'm never really like intrigued enough or enticed enough to try any of their new launches. It just doesn't appeal to me. And I keep thinking, I need to try more from Bobbi Brown, but I don't want to for some reason. So I understand you. It's just a brand that is just completely off my radar now. So please let me know, are you really interested in Bobbi Brown? Would you like me to review more of their products, give them more of a chance? Let me know. Or are we all just done with them for some reason? I don't know what it is. Maybe since Bobbi herself left the company, we just are not feeling them anymore. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like I never sort of see a Bobbi Brown release and think, yes, I want that. I'm just never kind of excited about it. So I understand it. Stacey224 says, while I love luxury makeup, the post-buyer's remorse makes me question my life. Oh, Stacey, I'm so sorry. Post-buyer's remorse, I don't really know what that is. I'll just be honest. I don't experience this. My assumption is that, you know, you buy something that's really expensive and then you maybe like feel bad or guilty about it afterwards. My thing is, I will say this to anybody and everybody. Don't go broke for makeup. It's not worth it. You probably have a lot like everybody else. And if it gives you joy, then, you know, there's no harm in that, no wrong in that. But don't go into debt for makeup. Don't put it on your credit card. Don't feel the need to buy every new thing because there's no reason to. And if it's making you feel bad, then definitely take a break from it and enjoy the products that you already have. And maybe ask for the products you really want and really hankering after for gifts, for birthdays, anniversaries, trips, Christmas, and avoid that buyer's remorse. That sounds horrible. I don't wish that on you. Laurel says, I'm one of the few that always likes their lipstick shades to lean at least slightly orange or peach. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I know lots of people hate Charlotte Tilbury because she's constantly making her lipsticks lean that way, but I love it. I mean, if you saw my review of the new Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, I was over the moon that the pink shade was in fact still slightly peachy toned. I just love it. That's what suits me. That's my preference. That's what I like. It goes nicely with my skin tone. So I flipping love it too. I'm here for it. Prayosha Photo says, mini products are not appealing to use. This is interesting because if you watched my previous haul video, you'll know how much I love a mini of anything. A mini like eyeshadow, a mini blusher, a mini salt and pepper shaker. Anything mini is just flipping adorable, okay? But actually using them, I agree. To look at, cute, 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 give it, love it, little ditty stuff, can't get enough. But actually using that stuff, yeah, I agree. Not the most like helpful, is it? A tiny mascara is the worst. Like a little diddy wand where you're almost touching your eyeball trying to hold the thing. I understand it. I feel like mini lipsticks are a nightmare because they're always like, they feel like they're going to snap. They're too thin. It's not going to work. So I understand. Most of the time, minis, yeah, cute to look at, but not that practical. Trinalyn says, Chantecaille is only talked about by paid influencers. What have I done wrong? Because I've talked about Chantecaille numerous times and I've never been paid a penny. How rude. Diggs! Oh my God, my flipping dog just started howling his head off out of nowhere, and because he's having a nightmare. Does anyone else's dog do this? Sometimes he does it in the middle of the night and he starts like wailing like a banshee and I think we're under attack and I run down there and the thing that's meant to be protecting me from attack is yowling his head off because he's dreaming about probably rabbits or something, or maybe evil cats. I don't know. But he's still alive and it's all fine. So yeah, I don't know that it's only spoken about by paid influencers because I can promise you Chantecaille have never given me 1 penny. So that's sad. Maybe I'm the only one who's working for free out here. Sabsa says, a no mascara look is beautiful. Not my opinion, just want to hear your thoughts. Here's the thing. I don't think I've ever looked weirder than when I've got like my full face of makeup on and no mascara. I feel like I look bonkers. But also that's probably because this is how I am. Like my lashes are always ginormous. That's just how I feel like myself, look like myself, and just how I always have my lashes. So if I'm going about with like even just a 1 coater, let alone no mascara, then I just don't look like right to me how I usually look. But I absolutely agree. I've seen some stunning makeup looks with no mascara. I think it really is very like edgy, and I feel like it also creates, especially if you've got sort of a full glam but no mascara, it's really eye-catching. It really, like, you really notice it because it's quite a sort of unusual thing. I think we've got so used to seeing false lashes with every look, especially when it comes to like editorial makeup. So yeah, I agree. I think it can be beautiful for sure. It's just not for me, obviously. Panama Girl 89, the Brazilian Bum Bum Cream smells bad and is way too overhyped. I don't mind the smell of it. I've only ever used the moisturizer, but yeah, it's nice. I like the smell. I think I like the smell as far as being a body cream. I like it, but yeah, I can't say I'd necessarily want it in a perfume. Esther Giroux says, I prefer washing my scalp every day than use a dry shampoo. I mean, go you. I disagree for myself, just saying. Obviously, you do whatever you want to your scalp, but I mean, washing my hair is my least favourite thing in life. I do it once or twice a week. I wash my hair, and yeah, it's just so time consuming and I can't be bothered. The main issue is how long my hair takes to dry. It takes so long. It'll be an hour blow drying it, almost, pretty much, or like a whole day if I just let it dry. So yeah, for most part, it's just not something I have the time or energy to do every single day. But, you know, each to their own. Congratulations that you've got that kind of energy. Well done, you. Curls8 says, you wear far too much foundation and bronzer, and of course it's meant as constructive criticism, isn't it? Isn't it always? Now, here's my thing. I can't relate to feeling the need to tell people what I do and don't like about their appearance. I just honestly don't feel like anyone gets a say or a vote in anybody else's life. What they wear, what they do with their makeup, especially not someone that you've never seen me in person. So I don't know how much you know about exactly how much foundation or bronzer I use on a daily basis, but I definitely will say that you don't get a vote, you don't get a say in how much I use, and I really don't understand the need to tell me what you don't like about my face, my makeup, me in general. I think if you find it more important to tell someone what you don't like about them with no consideration as to how that may be received by people, then that's really something to work on. I think we all can push to be kinder and more positive to people and really ask ourselves whether it's necessary, kind and important to tell somebody something that may be received in a way that could hurt them. And that's definitely something that we need to work on. We don't need to tell everybody every thought that pops in our head under the guise of I'm just being honest, because yes, you are just being honest, and you could also be kind, empathic, gentle, caring, respectful, and I'd say those things are more important than just sharing your honest opinion that actually really has no impact on that person and really in no way affects you or your life. Kindness over honesty every time. Ned the Pup says, if you're going to review luxury makeup, learn how to pronounce French words. So I don't know if this is me. I don't know if I've pronounced something wrong. So if I have, I'm so sorry. I agree with this. I will say if I've pronounced something wrong, I'm sorry. I always do my best. Whenever there are names or brands or anything like that that I'm not 100% sure how it's pronounced, I always do my best to find out. I'll try and look it up. I'll try and find a video of someone saying it that I know they are correct, or someone from the brand explaining how a word is pronounced or something like that. I always do try, but I will say, and it's not just French, you know, we encounter a lot of different nationalities, names of things and brand names, etc. And I do think it's important to pronounce things correctly. I always do try, but I am English, I have an English accent, and I'm not fluent in any other languages. So it's not always as easy as that. Even if I know the correct pronunciation of a word in a different language, doesn't mean I'm going to say it perfectly or be able to say it perfectly with my English voice, accent, and language. So I will say a lot of the time, I certainly do everything I can to do that correctly, but I do agree it's important to try. I think that's just respectful. I do the same with names as well. I mean, even in this video, obviously a lot of the names on the accounts, I I'm not 100% sure how they're pronounced. Sometimes it's letters and they may not be a name or whatever. But with that, I try really hard to make sure I'm pronouncing people's names correctly. And I don't want to get them wrong. I do always want to make sure that I say people's names right. So yeah, I think it's important. I think it's respectful and I understand it. I do my best, I promise. Danielle Spence says, I'm not a fan of the Hourglass powders or their palettes. They make my pores look huge. I mean, they are a very popular product, but they are very luminous, aren't they? So I can imagine if pores are something that you struggle with, or just texture, I can understand that would probably be a bad combo. Sarah says, I think setting sprays are useless and do nothing but seemingly break up my makeup. A poem. Thank you so much. I would have agreed with you a couple of years ago. I would have agreed with you, never really used them, never really cared for them. And then I found the Charlotte Tilbury one and I can't remember, I wish I could remember the exact day and set of circumstances where I realised how effective that setting spray is, because I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was some kind of day where I kind of used it as an afterthought and I got in that night and was shook to my core at what I looked like in a good way, you understand. So that one works for me. But I will say I'm not a nurse out there working doubles. I'm not in an especially challenging climate. I'm not in a challenging climate whatsoever, in fact, that's very, very humid or very, very hot, extreme temperatures or extreme heat or extreme cold. Very, very kind of mediocre, no extremes in any way climate here. So I don't challenge it as much as someone who's living in like Vegas would. So I would say, yeah, the Charlotte Tilbury works for me. Have you tried that one? Because they are not all equal. And yes, I would agree. A lot of them probably are useless. The ones that I tried before that one, for sure. Karina says, by how long it takes stuff to get here, some brands see the UK as a second world country. I think what I will say is that the UK is a tiny little market when it comes to makeup. You know, between the US and China, like UK money is effectively nothing. So yeah, I think most brands we are an afterthought. And if now, especially post Brexit, where things have become challenging and a lot of brands, in order to ship here and have suppliers here and be stocked here, have probably had to do a lot of changes in order to make that happen smoothly, and probably incurred a lot of costs for delivery and things like that. I think, unfortunately, our money is not big enough to matter enough. I think that's been demonstrated time and time again with how long it took Sephora to come here and the fact that they cut us off from using their website so quickly and easily without a care in the world. I think from how long it took, for example, Tatcha to come here and things like that. It obviously is such a small market in the grand scheme of things that, unfortunately, I think you're probably right. As for many brands, we aren't a priority. But you know, who needs them? Me, I need them. DGorge20 says, I don't like minimal makeup looks. Well, you go on with your full glam baddie self every day, rocking up with a full beat. I love it. No complaints from me. I feel like I'm in the mood sometimes for minimal, sometimes for full beat, sometimes for something in between, but I love it. Go for it. Go out. You know, we live once. If you want to go full beat, full glam every day of your life, you do it, sister. Little 13 Witch, cute name, says, I heard that you shouldn't wear blue shadow with brown eyes, but I don't personally care though. Me neither, little 13 Witch. Me neither. I hear such things all the time, that, oh, certain colours don't go with blue eyes, or these colours, you know, don't go with whatever. I couldn't care less, frankly. Could not care less, even if I tried. I don't even remember what those rules are, frankly. I'll do whatever I like. I can't say I've ever put an eyeshadow colour on and thought, oh no, that's clashing with my eyeballs. I can't say that's ever been something I've experienced. Maybe other people are looking at me and thinking, oh my God, what's she doing wearing that eyeshadow with her eyeballs? Maybe that's happening more often than I would choose to know about. But I can't say I've ever thought it myself in my own brain. So yes, I choose to continue willy-nilly wearing whatever colours I like, and I would strongly advise you to do whatever makes you happy too. And I personally plan to wear all the wrong coloured eyeshadow and as much foundation and bronzer as I flippin' well like, because I'm 38 years old and you ain't my mum. Alright, so there you have it. I think those are all of the new unpopular opinions I have to react to today. I'm so sorry if I didn't do yours. It's because we've previously covered it in another episode of Unpopular Opinions. We've already done everything to do with concealer, false lashes, Charlotte Tilbury slander and Pat McGrath slander have all been covered in previous episodes. So otherwise, I think I've covered everybody's who submitted one. Thank you again so much to everybody, almost, who submitted an unpopular opinion. You guys always bring the great ones, the really interesting ones. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.